Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day. This is Steve Lynch here. You know, I just wanted to share a message of positivity today. You know, today is today's the 14th of November. So we are 6 days removed from this last presidential election. And I don't need to obviously get in the weeds with all the details about what's been going on and everything else. But as different as we all are, as different as we all wanted this outcome to be, there's a lot of people that are happy about this. There's a lot of people that are not only just sad, they're absolutely distraught about everything. But I wanted to share a message that I got from you, got from a friend of mine, actually from high school, that I wanted to share with you. And while she and I have some very similar views on food and farming and medications and things like that, there's a lot of similarities to our views. When it comes to political, and I didn't really realize this till this presidential election, we differ significantly. But she reached out to me, being on the opposite side of my viewpoints, knowing the type of voice that I have, knowing, you know, who I am and how I do certain things. And she basically asked if I would share my, I don't want to say my concerns, they were her concerns, but share, almost for lack of better words, holding of accountability for Trump and what hers and many other people's concerns are, having it come from the other side, basically sticking by or standing up for them, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, some people would sit there and say, would people on with maybe my views on what's going on, they would sit there and say, well, yeah, but the other candidate that you were voting for is blah, blah, blah. And maybe your points or my points would be valid, but here's the problem. Here's a person that's basically extending the olive branch, the olive leaf, and asking for common ground. And I was taken aback in a very positive way, because isn't this what we should be doing? Is there something wrong with her asking me to basically say to people who might be thinking the same way I do, hey, look, you know, we obviously want certain changes that are going to happen in this country, but there's people on the other side that have concerns. Now, whether they're valid or not, there's legitimate fear that's going on in this country. When I mean legitimate, like I don't believe that the fears that some people have are legitimate. I'm not saying they're not valid, but I don't believe that they're legitimate. But it's not even my point to say that. That's what they're feeling. That's how they're feeling. That's what their concerns are. And most people get into a conversation to try to prove points. Well, like, oh no, you don't have to feel this because this. Well, guess what? They're feeling it anyway. And your rationalization of why they shouldn't feel that way is not going to automatically make someone just change the way that they feel. You know, the saying is actions speak louder than words. So that the fact of the matter is, the only person that can change those fears and what in the context that we're talking about is Donald Trump, because their fears, right or wrong, valid or invalid, legitimate or illegitimate, are still there. And let's all face it. I mean, this campaign on both sides, the rhetoric was like nothing we've ever seen. I mean, I've been alive for 38 years. I've never seen anything like this. So I want to say to this friend, I don't need to mention who she is. She'll know who it is. She'll know who she is when she sees this. I'm with you. And I would say, and if you go back and read some of the stuff that I have posted lately, even video recorded, I plan on 100% holding Trump's feet to the fire for things that he said that he was going to do. This you can know about me. If a person is not going to be a person of their word, I don't care who they are, how much I want to support them, I will absolutely call them out on the carpet, hands down, because I can't stand two-faced people. I just can't stand it. I don't have time for it. This is why when I put my feelings and emotions and thoughts on why I was doing things the way that I was going to do them and vote the way I was going to vote, I was very clear, very concise, very precise on why I'm doing this, what my concerns are, everything else. So I'm with you, friend of mine from high school. You know exactly who it is. I would call for, we want peace in our land. I don't think I know anybody personally that wants a nation divided. Now, guess what? We're always going to have division. And guess what? We're always going to have racism. It's not going to change personal beliefs. I know when it will change. Personal beliefs when the Lord returns. That is when things will radically transform. Peace will be upon this earth. But take that aside for a second. The world peace and everything else, it's a great thought. And it would be absolutely fantastic. But when human beings are involved, we screw it up. It's just what we do. I know I've done it many times. Everybody does it. And we're not always going to see eye to eye. We're not always going to think the same way. We're not always going to respond to a situation the same way. But this goes on both sides. Let's hear people, literally, wholeheartedly hear them, without the intention and purpose to try to figure out what your response is going to be. Listening. Let's listen to people. What are their concerns? What are their fears? Are they valid? Are they invalid? Are they legit? And then share with them your thoughts, your feelings, your empathy. That's the other thing that people struggle with nowadays. We don't empathize with anybody. So I am with you. I hope and pray that a lot of the stuff that was discussed and the way that it was discussed throughout this campaign was nothing but rhetoric. But we do have to heal. There's a healing process. And Trump, you have the ability to do some significant healing. You can do this by words you speak, actions that you'll take. There's a lot of the balls in your court. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope that if anything, even if this affects one person for looking at people in a different way, because we don't see eye to eye does not mean that we can't get along. I mean, what's the statement? You got to sometimes agree to disagree. We're not always going to agree, but it's not the right for one person to tell the other person that they have to think another way. I don't do that with my wife. She doesn't do that with me. We share thoughts together. We don't see eye to eye on everything. Doesn't mean I hate her. Doesn't mean she hates me. We sometimes find common ground. Sometimes she sways me to her side. Sometimes I sway her to my side. That's how debates work and conversation works, and that's how America should work. Hope you guys have a great day. God bless.